Hello, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we will look at the story of a poor farm boy who built one of the most recognized exotic car brands in the world that also happens to be worth a gazillion dollars. This is the story of one man named Ferruccio. And guess what exotic auto company? Well, if you don't know the company I'm talking about, then you've got to keep watching to find out. Let's get to it. Ferruccio was born in northern Italy on April 28, 1916, into humble beginnings. His parents were poor grape farmers in a teeny town called Rinazio. And so, his childhood was shaped by the simplicity and hard work of rural life. In Rinazio, young Ferruccio discovered his fascination with machinery and engines. Those things filled him with awe, and he always just wanted to know how they worked. I mean, Ferruccio was the kind of guy you didn't want your toy car breaking down around because just like that, he's playing mechanic. But then it wasn't so bad because he'd eventually get it fixed for you. Anyway, as he grew older, Ferruccio's passion for machines continued to grow until he pretty much consumed him. As a result, he started to drown himself in those big fat engineering books, soaking up every possible bit of knowledge he could get his hands on about engines and mechanics. And naturally, the more he read and the more he knew, the more he started to drool at the mouth at the thought of building his own machines. One day, tired of salivating, Ferruccio decided to get a head start on his dreams. So he decided to enroll at the TADDIA Technical Institute and to get a good old education in the field of mechanics. However, there was one problem. It's this itsy-bitsy thing we now call World War II. Just at that point when Ferruccio decided to get his education, World War II swept across the globe. And I mean, not many people tend to think of school when their life is hanging in the balance. So instead of enrolling at the TADDIA Technical Institute, Ferruccio got drafted into the Italian Royal Air Force. But you know what they say, the heart wants what the heart wants, and love always finds a way. Well, after Ferruccio got drafted, he was deployed to the island of Rhodes in the Mediterranean. Now, guess what he did in the army? Bingo! He served as a vehicle maintenance supervisor working with military machinery. Ferruccio's experience as a military mechanic provided him with invaluable insight into the intricacies of engines and the mechanics of war vehicles. But the universe wasn't done throwing a wrench in his plans just yet. It had one more card to play, but that card was, ta-da, prison. But before we talk about how that went down, if you're enjoying the video so far and would like to see more videos like this, why not smash that like button and subscribe while you're at it? And now that you've done that, we can get back to the video. So, in 1945, the war took a dramatic turn for Ferruccio when Rhodes was captured by the British Army. Consequently, our hero was taken as a prisoner of war, and he was there for a whole year before he was allowed to go home. Tough luck, but now that he's been allowed to go home, everything is good and dandy. Not so fast, because tragedy was waiting for Ferruccio at home. You see, upon his return, Ferruccio got married to his sweetheart. Unfortunately, barely a year after and just after the birth of their son, Antonio, Ferruccio's wife passed away. Understandably, Ferruccio was devastated, but he was determined to move forward, so he threw himself into his work. He was able to channel all that energy into opening a garage in Pieve di Cento, Italy, in 1948. There, he dedicated himself to repairing and servicing vehicles, and before you knew it, he took the significant leap of founding his own tractor company. Ferruccio had the expertise and innovative mindset, and he aimed to use those things to bring a new level of excellence to the agricultural machinery industry. But even though Ferruccio was into tractors now, his love for cars never faded. He just couldn't resist the primal urge to tinker with automobiles. It's like he was just drawn to it no matter where he was or what he was currently working on. So you know what? He decided to do it. He decided to channel his love for cars into something practical. So there was this old Fiat Topolino that he had, and as a personal project, he thought he'd pimp it up into a sporty open-top coupe, complete with a 750cc engine to boot. The project was a success. So by now, Ferruccio is all fired up and ready to go the whole 9 yards, which makes him consider racing. His first stop? The prestigious 1948 Mille Miglia, a challenging 1,000-mile race. But spoiler alert, it did not end well. Like, at all. At first, things started out great with the race until, well, they didn't. Ferruccio's car had covered 700 miles when he suddenly collided with the side of a restaurant in Turin, Italy. Obviously, this was an impactful moment for him, pun very much intended. But at this point, the message from the universe couldn't be any clearer. Ferruccio was a mechanic, not a racer. Like all sensible people, Ferruccio knew better than to disobey the universe. It's older than all of us combined. So Ferruccio gave up his dreams of competitive racing and decided to focus his efforts on building and improving vehicles. Ferruccio's tractor business thrived as the Italian economy regained strength after the war, which gave him the opportunity to expand his business beyond tractors. In fact, Ferruccio ventured into new industries altogether and started manufacturing air conditioners and heating units. Naturally, he grew stupendously wealthy. And when you have money, you have to collect something. It's like in the Constitution, right? Anyway, Ferruccio chose luxury sports cars, obviously, and amassed an impressive collection. In 1958, driven by a desire for the best, Ferruccio decided to take a trip down to Maranello. His destination? The revered Ferrari factory, where he intended to buy the renowned Ferrari 250 GT, the epitome of automotive excellence at the time. And who wouldn't be excited to own a Ferrari? Well, Ferruccio wouldn't, because being an engine head means you notice the teeny tiny imperfections that make you dissatisfied with a car that others would kill for. But seriously though, the 250 GT had quite a few issues. The clutch burned out frequently, you had to keep taking it in for repairs, and Ferrari's customer service was crap. Determined to find a solution, Ferruccio decided to speak directly to Enzo Ferrari himself, and let me tell you, it didn't turn out great. Basically, Enzo Ferrari told Ferruccio that he was only good enough to drive tractors, and that's when I got the idea into my head and told myself I'll make the cars myself from now on, says Ferruccio. But you see, the thing is Enzo Ferrari had a temper, so when Ferruccio pretty much flipped him off, he severed all communication with Ferruccio. Ferruccio didn't care. He wanted a good car. So, he went ahead and built one, modifying his own Ferrari 250 GT to outperform the stock models. That was shockingly easy for Ferruccio to do and inexpensive too.
Come on, man! That's too easy!
It made Ferruccio realize that he's been wasting his talents all along. And with that, a new chapter in Ferruccio's life opened up, aka the birth of his automobile company. You might have heard of it before. It's called Lamborghini. Yeah, the very same one.
You buy a Ferrari when you want to be someone. You buy a Lamborghini when you are someone.
In 1963, Lamborghini unveiled its first masterpiece, the Lamborghini GT350, at the Turin Auto Show. This event would forever change the landscape of the automotive world, as the GT350 was jaw-droppingly gorgeous, both in and out. The car featured a sleek and aerodynamic design with sharp lines and a commanding presence on the road. But it wasn't just the aesthetics that set the GT350 apart. The innovative engineering was just mind-blowing and its performance was unmatched. People flocked to the Turin show from far and wide to catch a glimpse of the GT350 and ogle at its craftsmanship and performance capabilities. Suddenly, the world started paying attention to Lamborghini Automobili, as it started to leave its indelible mark on the industry. Now, if you know anything about Lamborghini, you definitely know its iconic emblem, the Raging Bull. Well, the story behind the choice of this symbol is just as captivating as the story of Ferruccio and Lamborghini. So, here it goes. Ferruccio Lamborghini loved Spanish bullfighting and the fierce spirit of the magnificent creatures that graced the arena. It started after he paid a visit to the ranch of Don Eduardo MIURA, a renowned breeder of Spanish fighting bulls. There was just something about watching these animals display their raw power and indomitable nature. So Ferruccio saw that and was like, yes, this is what I want Lamborghini to be. That was how the Raging Bull became Lamborghini's emblem, an iconic representation of the company's fearless pursuit of automotive excellence. Shortly after that, perhaps as a thank you to Don Eduardo MIURA for being a big part of the inspiration for the Lamborghini emblem, Ferruccio built a sports car in his honor called the Lamborghini MIURA in 1966. Oh, the MIURA was a work of art, both in terms of design and performance, plus its sleek and sensuous lines were breathtaking. The mid-engine layout with the V12 engine positioned just behind the driver set a new standard for supercars. And the performance? Oh gosh, this bad boy was a beast. With a top speed of over 170 miles per hour, 275 kilometers per hour, the MIURA was one of the fastest production cars of its time. It was all the industry could talk about at the time. About 8 years after this, Lamborghini once again made waves with the introduction of the Lamborghini Countach in 1974. This futuristic and iconic design set new benchmarks for automotive aesthetics. In contrast to the MIURA, the Countach featured sharp angles, scissor doors, and a low-slung body that captured the imagination of enthusiasts worldwide. However, when it came to performance, the Countach was a beast just like the MIURA. The car had a V12 engine that thundered, and the car would achieve speeds exceeding 180 miles per hour, 290 kilometers per hour. In fact, the Countach pushed the limits of what was possible, inspiring a generation of dreamers and setting off a fierce competition among supercar manufacturers. Lamborghini, on the other hand, just kept innovating until it became a leader in areas such as aerodynamics, engine technologies, and construction materials. Lamborghini even pioneered the use of carbon fiber in automotive applications, resulting in lighter and stronger vehicles that could reach even greater speeds. Today, Lamborghini continues to push the boundaries of what's possible in the automotive world. The brand is super committed to research and development, which has led to show-stopping models like the Lamborghini Huracan Performante, as well as the Lamborghini Sián. Anyway, you know what they say, time flies when you're having fun, and this has been fun. Over the last few minutes, we've journeyed through the life of Ferruccio Lamborghini, from his humble beginnings in a small farming village to his rise as the founder and CEO of a billion-dollar automobile empire. Wasn't it the most inspiring tale? Let us know what you thought by dropping a comment below, and see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe.